I'm going to start a martial arts series, basically a series on how to train yourself in martial arts as a person solo. So what I mean by that is, usually when you train martial arts, you go to a martial arts school of some type, like karate or whatever, and you'll learn martial arts with other people, right? But if maybe you don't have time or you don't have the money to do that, or maybe you just don't like training with other people, you might want to learn on your own. But there's some disadvantages to it. For example, the sparring that you do. Sparring is when you have basically a sort of simulated fight, well, a real fight with someone else, but you do it like, I do it at about 10-20% strength, maybe 30% strength sometimes, because I've been doing this for 25 years, martial arts, but people generally do it at 40-50% strength. So they kind of get the sensation of fighting and understand, learn how to move and how to react and stuff without actually getting into a full fight and, breaking each other, basically. That's the idea of sparring. Without sparring, it's tricky for the reactions, but for me, I would say it's still possible. In this video, I'm going to show you what you're going to need to do before you even start training. So there's some things that you'll need to buy. I don't have all of them, or you might not need to buy them, but you probably should buy them, right? So the first thing I'm going to do today, after I've explained what you're going to need, is a bit of yoga on this mat. I would recommend getting a slightly wider mat than mine, because if you look at me on the mat, I barely fit on the mat. I'm a fairly big guy, but I'm in South America at the moment, so if you can see that properly. I'm in South America at the moment, so this is all they got. Everyone here is tiny, so they make them for small people. But I'll get yourself a mat so that you can do yoga with, and some space to actually do this in. Yeah, I've got a little bit of space here, but here you can see I don't really have much space. And an arm, for example, might end up punching this little bit of ceramic, is it? I don't know what you call it. Anyway, this fucking thing, I might end up punching it. I might end up hitting the wall. Whilst I've got a leg stretch going on, I might kick the wall, something like that. Just because restricted by space. Before you do a training session, if you're going to do a long training session, get yourself some food ready or something you can easily cook. These are vegetarian burgers. I'm not a veggie, they just fucking taste great. And these I can cook within about 5 to 8 minutes. So I'll do a hard session, smash the hell out of my partner. Well, you'll see what I mean by partner. It's not a real person, but you'll see what I mean. And you do your press ups and your sit ups, you do whatever, your conditioning, whatever crap you do for an hour or so, and afterwards you're knackered, your body needs something, you start to feel hungry, all that adrenaline's gone. You need something you can cook fast, or you need something that's already made so that you can just get right on with eating it, get that protein back into your body, get energy back into your body, and it feels great eating something high protein after a workout, or high protein, high carb after a workout like that. You really do feel the benefits. It's like a mini orgasm. Right, I'll show you my partner, as I so called. I kind of gave away something that you should buy before you start training. So where are we? Just come down here. Lights aren't bloody working. Here he is. This is my partner, right? I'm just going to give him a kick to put him straight. This here is my partner. I bought this for, I think it was about 420 US dollars, 420, probably was about 420. In Spanish it's muñeca de silicona. What that really means is it's just a silicone doll, right? You can buy, the most famous brand of these is the Century Bob. These I prefer to punching bags because basically when you're hitting punching bag, you're hitting an unrealistic shape, okay? And when you go to fight an actual person, like this guy is an actual person. Well, when I hit a punching bag, I'm hitting a gigantic circle, yeah? So it's not realistic to a real fighting situation. For example, If this was a giant circle here, all of this was a circle, and I hit this part, I won't miss anything. You know, I hit the guy, the bag straight on, and in my brain, that's good. Now if I go and punch this part of him, I've missed him entirely. I've missed him completely. And in a real fight, I know my brain recognises that's useless. What the hell are you doing here? This doesn't work. You've got to hit the target where it is. Another thing about this is, when I used to train with bags, and when I used to train with targets and that kind of thing, the sparring was the only thing that made me aggressive and able to hit other people. But sometimes in real fights I could never quite use my full force. There was something restricting me. I was so used to hitting bags with full force. In my brain I'm hitting a bag, right? It's a bag that I'm hitting. But now in my brain I'm hitting a human-shaped object. So my head is much faster to register this object. It's much easier for me to say, oh yeah, I can just hit that with force. Because in my brain, this shape, this configuration is something that I hit all the time with massive amounts of force. So when it comes to another person attacking me now, my brain isn't thinking that's a person. I'm sparring, you know, I'm just sparring. How does I want to hit him? How does I want to hit him? I can't hit him. So I'll show you. I just want to hit him, I can. Yeah? I'm not hitting him as hard as I could, but hit him fairly hard. Yeah? You feel like that? A lot of pain there, a lot of pain. That was a real person, that'd be quite a bit of pain. The next thing I'd recommend you to get, if you're a beginner especially, I mean in general for one of these, you need to get gloves, right? Especially with these. If you do it with a punching bag, it's not as bad because it doesn't cut your hands up and that kind of thing. You get used to it. These can really fuck your hands up if you don't have boxing gloves or MMA gloves. It's not like hitting a bag at all. It's very much like hitting bone sometimes because the way it's shaped, you know, it's a sharp shape at parts of it. I've fucked myself up. My hands, well, they just get cut open all the time from this. My hands are getting a lot stronger now, so I'm callousing over, but I've been doing this for 20-something years. I've had a smaller version of this guy, a lighter version of this guy that I've been punching for a long time. I started with gloves and then I finally got rid of them. So my body is used to that. You know, I don't do damage to myself because my body is used to that. My bones, you know, the small bones inside my hand are used to that. So it's fine for me to do that, right? But if you as a starter, you know, start off like this, and I'll show you another thing, right? You start punching it like this, you're just going to cut your hands open if you use all your force. Now your bones and your arm as well, this is another thing. You've got to be careful, right? When you first get one of these, you get a base with these guys, yeah? You get a base with these guys. Don't fill them up too much. You have to fill them up a little bit because if you don't fill them up, this guy weighs, what, 60 kilograms, this base weighs nothing. So you just push the guy and he falls straight over. So when you hit him, he just falls over, he's useless to you, right? So you've got to fill the base somewhat. But don't just fill it straight to the top if you're not used to punching or whatever, because you have to hit this guy pretty hard to move him, right? You're going to be using all your force, and that force goes back into you when you hit. If you're not used to this, you know, you can do some serious damage to your bones. Overtraining, you can just do damage to your bones. So you've got to be careful how you go about this. So yeah, if you're a new person starting out, I would recommend getting yourself some gloves for this guy. I would also recommend yourself getting maybe elbow pads, because look, for me, I can just hit him in the elbows, you know. I can just hit him with my elbows. I'm just that hardcore. I'm used to doing that. I've been doing that for many years. These elbows, I can hit walls with these elbows, right? I'll show you. Yeah, I can hit the wall with the elbow. Hear that? That's fine. That's a little bit, but it's fine. That's because I've been doing it for years, and my bones are used to that. My body's used to that. You have to be careful with these things. So don't fill it up too much. Fill it gradually, bit by bit. Yeah. And if not, if you're getting a boxing bag, get a small one to start with. It sounds stupid and it sounds really, you know, like I'm trying to put you down, but it's not that. You might think you're tough as hell, And you know, you might actually be able to go through the pain of punching this punching bag for 2 hours, but you know, you're going to end up with problems in your bones doing this if you're not careful with what you're doing. You can break your bones doing this, you know. It's like, see this wall here, right? I don't have the force to break this wall, so if I just straight up punch this wall, I can punch it like this, not really a problem for me, because you know, I've got some level of conditioning. But if I punch this wall with all my force, all the force I can possibly muster, I'll probably break my hand, because my hand just isn't designed to do that. Mine is. And some people could probably actually punch through the wall, some really insane people who've just trained that way only. But yeah, be careful with this thing. It can do more damage to you than you think it can. Same with the punching bags though, you know, keep the weights low to begin with. If they're too low, you can always change it, you can always size it up. Those guys are the best because once you buy it once, you can change the weight all the time. And then once it gets to its highest weight, I mean, you can probably just make your own custom base and just fill it up. It's cheaper than a bag if you're going to change weights all the time, because otherwise you'd end up buying 3 and 5 to 6 bags, changing weights a lot of times. A bag will cost you a third of what this guy costs you, maybe half of what this guy costs you. You already spend double getting 6 of them, if you see what I'm saying. So it's better to get this guy. All you got to do is put a bit of sand or water in him. So yeah, that's something you should get. Like I said, elbow pads, knee pads, this kind of thing. I'm not talking the football ones. You can get some martial arts specific ones. I won't give you any links, you can find that yourself. And basically do that until you get your body used to it, right? So these are just a few of the things you should buy. You could buy yourself, you know, maybe a little bottle, like a little container for protein shakes, that kind of thing. But I'm not a workout guy, I'm a martial arts guy, right? So I don't know about that, I don't care. You won't need pads or anything like that because this is about training on your own, right? If you want to learn how to train with other people, that's fine. But I don't have other people, so I can't demonstrate that to you. So I'm not going to get into that. And then before you even start, you know, to learn your martial arts, to have your workout or whatever, here's something you've got to do, right? I said from the start, we do yoga, yeah? This is the first thing you got to do. You got to do a bit of yoga. I'm going to do this fast, just for you guys, basically, just so I can speed this up. Normally I'd spend about 15 minutes here, possibly 10, possibly 20, but usually around 50 minutes it would average out. When I get on my back, you know, I do this, stretch my back out, get all the way I can. Don't overstretch. If you feel a lot of pain, just calm down there, slowly get out of the position you're in, because you can overstretch as well. But you know, try and stretch up, make yourself a bit supple. There we go. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, great. Not like me, don't do it for just 20 seconds or a minute and say that's good, oh great, no. You know, try and do it for a little bit of time. Yeah, you know, stretch out a bit. Stretch your legs and that. Stretch them on the side like this as well. Both sides. Yeah. Do some back exercises like this kind of thing. You can do this kind of thing. Bit crouching like that. Whatever, you get the picture. Basically, you know, loosen yourself up a bit, do some stretching, and then after you're stretching, you know, loosen these joints here. Move them around, rotate them a little bit. Yeah, get that moving. Loosen these joints at the bottom here. Don't kick like at super speed. You'll fuck yourself up. Just reasonable speed. Yeah. Your hips. Look, you can see that. Get your hips moving. I'll put you at a better angle. I think that's a better angle. Maybe. Yeah, that's a better angle. Your hips moving. Side to side like that. You know, a bit of the old stretcheroo, that shit. Do you know what I mean? As you're going along. Bit of this. do your shoulders. Your shoulders are very important when you're doing martial arts, especially if you're a punch heavy fighter or you're doing elbows and you do a lot with your arms, because you use these muscles in your shoulder a lot. Think about it, every punch, this shoulder, every single time you do a hook, an uppercut, whatever, this shoulder, you know, so always do your shoulders, always do your shoulders. Never forget your shoulders. You know, you can even get a little arm stretch going on, improvise, you never know. Someone might try and submit you, try and break your arm. That little bit of stretching you did could save you, could give that extra second of submission time. You know, it might take them another second longer to submit you, and in that time you can escape. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot to it. Do your neck, side to side, that kind of thing. And basically, you're ready to go. That's all you really need to prepare yourself or before you start your first workout as such, your first solo workout. Now, after this, I'm going to actually do another video, then I'm going to have an actual workout myself, which I want video. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and goodbye.